Well, it's another beautiful day on the plains. We've had some outstanding weather, and um, Saturday's practice was. I've been really pleased with the energy and passion that, starting with our staff and with the players. I think they're batting about 100 on that with the in this new Tuesday, Saturday, let's get after it, and Thursday teach format that we've kind of gone through this spring, and so we're left with two more opportunities to do that, and excited to see what we do today in our competition periods, and then teach a lot Thursday, and then Saturday, obviously, go into the stadium in Jordan-Hare, and not sure exactly how to judge that. I know both sides will kind of be particular about what they're doing, and you hope to stay healthy and safe, and you're excited about our recruits that will be here, and all of our fans that may come. But it's typically a day you try to get out of healthy and don't show too much on either side, but and play a lot of these young kids. So hopefully we can get through this week healthy. We've been beat up considerably at the receiver position. That's caused us a little slowdown in some of the things we're trying to do, but other than that, we're pretty healthy. So been pleased with the energy and passion, and love the things I see from our staff and a lot of our players. I think the leadership of the team has been good in holding us accountable to the standards that we set back in January, and I think that's been probably what I'm most pleased with the progress with, and excited about finishing up this week and continuing to recruit.
How much one-on-one have you been able to do, and what's the plan for Saturday as far as splitting squads? And
one-on-one as far as DBs and ones against ones every day, every Tuesday and Saturday. It's been ones-on-ones, or we don't like to really say ones-on-ones. We say blue and orange and white, and you're constantly rotating people at some positions for sure. And but we're going to do good on good in spring all the time. And Saturday, I think I honestly started to turn this over to you guys and just let the media decide, but chances are you put all of y'all in the room, y'all couldn't come to a consensus either, just like a coaching staff. So I think the easiest format, we went through everything in the world from 2 first downs get you this, and I said I can't do all that. And so we're putting 27-0 on the scoreboard, defense, and let's go play and see. I'll vary the field positions, and see what happens. See if the offense can overtake the defense at 27-0. Obviously, if the defense were to have a pick six or something, they would add to their, or a block field goal for a return, or they would add to that. But barring they don't do that, it's 27-0, and see if the offense can score 28 in the time allowed.
Hugh, you mentioned the receiving core. Who are the guys that have been beat up for you?
Been without Jay Fair and Caleb Wooten and Camden Brown for the better part of the last 2 weeks. I think I'm missing. And Coy Moore. So all the returning guys that have played some snaps have been out. I think we'll get Jay back this week and Caleb. I don't know about Camden and Coy yet, but I think we'll get those two back.
You just what have you seen from quarterback-wise through the group now that you've had a chance to have some kind of scrimmage situations?
They absolutely have improved from week 1 to now. They're processing the expectations we have pretty well, taking care of the ball much better than week 1 for sure. I think the competition between Hank and Holden and Peyton has been really good. Walker has got an incredible arm strength. Obviously, is a freshman and swimming a bit with a lot of the things that he's seeing from the defense. There's a lot of different looks that that our defense gives, but excited about what he can be also. But like the competition that we're seeing there.
Coach, last year the weather kind of put a damper on A-Day, so you didn't throw the ball very much. Kind of run-pass ratio you're expecting on Saturday, and are you guys going to be using a running clock this year, or are you going to play?
Yeah, I think it's 4 10-minute clocks, and we'll see how that goes with the TV time and how the game's going. I'm sure we'll stop it some, but I think it's probably going to be 4 10-minute and stop at maybe the last 2 minutes of each quarter, and play it like normal from there. But that's kind of up in the air. I kind of changed my mind on that, see how it's going. Run-pass ratio, I don't. It's hard to say if we run our base offense. I don't know if it's going to be thrown or handed off. Half the time. I was showing a quarterback recruit we had here the other day. He was standing with me during red ball, and I said, we just threw for 90 yards on 2 drives, and we didn't call a single pass play. And I said, that's the kind of offense you want to play in. And so it's hard for me to really tell, what the run-pass ratio will be. But I don't mind throwing it. We are really thin at receiver right now, which we'll see how we are come Saturday. It'll help a lot if Jay and Caleb can be back for sure. Where you're not having to wear those guys out. But I certainly wouldn't mind throwing it around some if we can protect us. That's been the biggest challenge against what we're seeing defensively. Those guys are getting after us pretty good.
Coach, when you go into a spring game, spring practice, whatever you want to call it, for A-Day, as the head coach, what are your expectations going into it? And then when you go back in on Saturday night, Sunday morning, what are your expectations for this sort of a day?
Well, number one, you hope for great weather for the fans, and that they can enjoy getting on campus and being around each other, and that we would be clean in our operations. Y'all have heard me talk about before how this is tough on getting a lot out of the day, but it is what it is, and it's right for everybody at Auburn. So we're gonna make the best of it, and we're gonna go compete, and I think our kids will do that and do it passionately. Now, are the guys that limit their snaps? Probably so, that about and what they can do. We'll probably limit some of those guys, but other than that, it should be. We want to make it a competitive day. That you don't want to see flags all over the field. That would irritate me. And you just you want to play clean, and you want to execute fairly well on both sides. You don't want to go out there and it's 27-0 and the offense doesn't get a first down the whole day. That would be discouraging. So you're hoping that you just see some good execution from each side, and a lot of competition and taking pride in competing each snap, and stay healthy.
Hugh, you obviously want your guys to stay healthy, but how much has the injuries at receiver kind of been something beneficial to get more snaps for guys like Cam and Bryce and Robert transferring? And what have you seen from those guys, being the healthy ones out there?
Excited about Robert and Sam. Sam's another one. He's been in a yellow jersey all spring because of his shoulder, but surgery. But excited when I do see him, he and Robert. I think they're going to add quality depth to us. Bryce is going to be a talented kid. Yet to see kind of where he'll fit in year one. I mean, it's a process. Very few people are just ready-made and walk in and play in this league. And I want our young men to understand that. And that doesn't mean they're not really, really good. But Cam, on the other hand, is a different cat. He's going to have to play, and he's proved he can. When he knows what to do, he's very, very good. I mean, we've got to do a great job of bringing him along and making sure he understands techniques and the system more and more. but he's so coachable. That's going to be easy, and he just continues to make plays. He's got to go as a freshman, and we'll be excited to get Perry and Malcolm in to give us some additional depth in that room.
Hugh, you mentioned that defensive line doing a good job here in spring. What have sort of been the individual parts of that you've been pleased with? Because that was a group, obviously, that lost Marcus and lost Justin.
Yeah, we miss Marcus and Justin for sure. And I think inside is where we're still a little thin, that we'll be looking, maybe for some portal help there. But you need Jason Jones to come on and continue to improve along with Gage and Trill. Those are the three guys inside that have played, decent snaps. Then behind them, you've got to have, people like Bobby and DJ Reed and Blockton, all young kids, come on pretty fast to give you the needed depth inside there. The ends, J Mac is dynamic. Got to keep him healthy and hope he stays healthy throughout the year, but really, really pleased with his work ethic and the way he practices and goes after it. And obviously Keldrick, we're extremely pleased with, and need Z to come on behind him to give us quality depth there. And then really excited about Amaris and Waller. I mean, those freshmen are going to be, they're really talented, and probably going to have to play significant snaps, in year one. TJ Lindsey's another one that I think's got a huge ceiling. Tinkering with moving him inside if he doesn't play behind Keldrick and him at the end position. He could be a swing guy. He's getting bigger. Just not sure there yet, but excited. Love his work ethic. I think he's twitchy and he's going to be a really good player.
Hugh, Saturday specifically, what are some things you liked and didn't like from Saturday's scrimmage? And then also, you've sort of talked about not quite knowing if it's good. Does that mean it's bad?
Yeah.
Do you feel like you have a better understanding of this team to know if it's good, that it's good or bad on the other
I
side?
thought the Tuesday, we had competition Tuesday and offense dominated Tuesday. And defense did not like that at all. I thought they responded well Saturday, dominated the move the ball portion. Then we went to red zone competition. Offense gets a field goal, that's 3 points, and defense gets 4 for a stop, for a field goal. So and you played 18. Obviously, a score is a score, and that was really competitive. That was good to see the offense bounce back a little bit, but defense still edged them out in that competition. Then we went 2-minute drill, and offense need to have a touchdown in both, and they responded with 2 touchdowns. So I thought to see the defense fairly dominate the early portion of the things, but the offense never. There's times you can leave a practice and say, man, they just never responded, and that's more scary than the fact that they got it stuck to them pretty good early on. I thought our guys responded, which was really good to see them compete in that. So there was a few too many flags for us. We were really handsy in the defensive, and then we got called for quite a few holds that really. It's hard to say how bad you got dominated when you get behind the chains, man. It's just brutal, particularly when you got shorthanded at receiver and you really don't have your whole offense in. It's hard even if you have all of that, and that happened to us way too much in the move the ball portion. But it was good to see the competition and energy was off the charts good. And the coaches got after each other a little too much. Got to settle that down. It was good, though. It was all in good fun. But I thought it was just good competition, but it was really good to see the offense it did not go their way very well at all early, but they finished very, very strong.
You go back to quarterback a little bit. I know you talked about how hard it is to get 4 guys reps,
Yep.
much like. What are you looking for to maybe start to separate in terms of at least a pecking order to kind of give you an idea of heading into August? And what do you need to see from the? I'm sure Peyton's experience has him. In
Yeah,
there. What do you need
Peyton's
see
going
from
to
the
be
other
in
guys?
it. It's going to, it's going to be hard to say. I mean, as excited as we are about Walker, the other three are getting the majority of the reps probably come fall camp. But I'm really excited about Walker too. So we'll see. It's going to be hard to get four. We've done a good job getting them a bunch of reps in spring. It's probably hurt Peyton some because he hadn't gotten as many as. But we feel like he'll be fine come fall camp. But we really need to solidify who's really competing for the starting job, thus being the backup, with whichever way that goes by fall camp, and probably have to do that a week into fall camp, no more.
Coach, will you do mostly ones and twos in the A-Day game, or will you mix it up a little bit?
We're going to play, and on the headsets I'll say, hey, this is the orange group going out here, majority, blue group, white group, but I don't really get into the. I mean, I don't want to. You don't want Jeremiah Wright going against a 210-pound walk-on. So, but if it's somebody that they're expecting to get some snaps, I don't care who they play in those groups. They're going to rotate them anyway when you're in a scrimmage situation. As soon as there's a dead ball, here comes some more defensive guys. So, I don't know that it's that matters so much defensively. They're going to play who they play. Offensively, it does a little bit more because you don't rotate offensive linemen. We'll rotate some receivers, but everybody else is pretty. Receivers and tight ends may rotate, but you're going to play one or two backs, but the line is the one that really is most significant for.
Last spring, you talked about playing another school, maybe Troy, UAB. Have you had discussions with other coaches about this? And I talked to Troy's coach, Parker. He was all for the idea, but he said there was too many obstacles. What are the obstacles in getting that done?
To be candid, I would assume it's just the NCAA. I don't. It's just gotten no traction, and this is not the first year I've said something like that. But I don't know, and I'm sure there's some coaches that are not for it too, I guess. But when we're in coaches meetings, I don't. When I bring that up, there's nobody that really pushes back. But I don't guess we really know how to. I don't know how you convince. Whoever the powers would be to let us, scrimmage Troy or South Alabama or UAB or whoever else, and maybe I'm just in the minority, and it's just. But I still think it's a good idea from my perspective, and you're only playing 11 of your guys at one time, and you truthfully probably could get more out of the day, and I think people would enjoy it more, and I also think there's an element of. College football could give back to the state it's in. Obviously Jill and I, our heart is for orphan care and foster care systems, and that's where we've always spent our charitable time. And that's kind of what my hope was when I first said this way back when I was at Ole Miss. But I just don't. It just has picked up zero traction. So I'm not optimistic that that's coming anytime soon.
Coach, just seeking a little clarification on your quarterback situation. You said going into spring camp that it was Peyton's job to lose. Given what you've seen so far, have the other guys caught up? And if they haven't, what can they do on Saturday to make that jump going into?
Yeah, no, Peyton will still be in the lead pole position come fall camp right now, based on what we've seen this spring. But I do think that the gap's not very far. From him and Hank and Holden, and again, that doesn't mean Walker's not doing well. He's learning, but he's really talented. But going into fall camp is still Peyton will be in that number one spot.
You guys had a lot to replace in the secondary, with just the guys that y'all lost to the league. How have you seen that group kind of evolve and improve over the course of spring?
That's probably. I hope it's not fool's gold. I mean, we obviously lost a lot back there, but I've been really excited about the progress we're seeing back there from those young guys. I think Charles, Kelly, and Crime Dog have done a nice job with them, and you got a great leader in Keontae. But other than that, it's a lot of Thompson's played considerable snaps, but of the guys we have here, I mean, we're fixing to ask a lot of young guys to play some considerable snaps. Kaylee's, I think, really talented. I think Tyler Scott and Colton Hood and Champ Anthony have all had really solid camps. And obviously Thompson, we think, can play. I think J.C. Hart has got a huge ceiling. He's getting better and better. So, and then at the safety spot, Sylvester and T. Love and Caleb Wooten have all, been really solid. And I think getting better and better. Laquan Robinson's learning, but he's really talented, physical. Just got to learn. He can get on the wrong page in a hurry, but boy, he is physical, and he's what you want in a SEC safety looking. And I think we did really well with those young guys. Falston's going to be a good player too. So Crawford also, but really excited. Keontae and Kaylee and Colton Hood and JD have done really well at those corner spots. I think Antonio Kite's coming on. So I think that's probably where, if I had to say, we've made the most noticeable improvement. That's probably where I would say.
You mentioned a few of those guys. As a matter of fact, just a second ago, I was going to ask you about. We've heard and talked a good bit about the freshmen and the incoming transfers. Are there any other guys that are returnees that you've seen make a move here this spring? Some of the guys that hadn't had a chance to play much yet.
Maybe not make a move, but kind of flip a switch and look different, approach things different, eat different. Jeremiah Wright. I mean, he's just really pleased with the way he's going about his business, and he's had a really good spring, and it's really good to see him, take that type of mindset toward it. Eugene's been Eugene, and Keys has been solid also. Good to have Mossy in that group, very mature leader. But you pass those three linebackers, you better get them babies ready to play. They're going to have to play. And so I like them. DeMarcus Riddick he can run, he can cover, he's really talented, and those young guys are going to have to play. And gosh, I'm trying to think of returners that D-Wade, Braden Joyner. Braden Joyner has had a really solid camp, and by the way, I should have said this at the beginning. I don't think he'll mind, but he lost his father last night, and that's just, anytime you have one of your kids, lose a loved one like that is difficult, and so our prayers and thoughts are with he and his family. But he's had a really good camp.
I kind of wanted to ask you about the apparel negotiations have been kind of a topic recently. I know you're not directly involved in that, obviously, but I feel like the subject of recruiting comes up in that a lot, and what kids might want in the apparel negotiations. You're actually in those home visits. Is that something kids ever talk about? Is that a real thing that you've ever seen in your experience?
Very rare. I've been at a bunch of different schools and have had, I've been a part of 3 different apparel companies, and I don't ever recall feeling like that made a significant difference in the recruitment. But I'm certain that it doesn't hurt in some scenarios. But we've been blessed by the partnerships we've had here at Auburn and at the other places, and we're thankful at every place for those partnerships.
Once A-Day concludes, what is, for you and the coaching staff, kind of your schedule going to look like post-spring through the summer as you surge towards August?
Well, I wish they'd give us some dead periods, but recruiting will be ratcheted up all the way through June, it appears, with this, everybody seems to be taking visits earlier now. They're unlimited visits, so you're trying to figure out what's real, what's not, and as far as our players here, they'll have a discretionary week and then have a couple more weeks with Dom and us. We'll take a couple hours just to continue to do individual instruction, but then our assistants go on the road again, and now you can have contact on the road, and they're still going to be coming to campus, I'm sure, too, and hopefully somewhere in there you find a few days a week to play golf, at least in the afternoon, and get your mind away from it a little bit. But it's, May's obviously discretionary for our kids here. There'll be some that work out, but we kind of let them have, that's their month to kind of get away from it also. I'll do some traveling for Collective, I'm sure, and different Auburn groups, but we'll do all our evaluations with our players and end of the year meetings, and guess what? Another portal opens. So there's no, it's really business as usual, other than you just not having practice, but everything else is going to be full go, and who knows what comes with a portal opening. You just don't know, and it's very, my wife has made me promise I'm through complaining, but it's just, it's difficult. It's difficult to manage, and but we're going to hit it head on and embrace it, and try to do what's best for our roster in every scenario. Yep, thank you guys.